Welcome back to my channel. I am your friend Ishika. Today I am in Princeton State, Gurgaon, Haryana with Professor N Suryanarayan sir, who spent 40 years in Maharashtra teaching English. Isn't it interesting that he came from South India to Maharashtra? Not only he, his wife Sarita ma'am too. They both spent 40 years in teaching. So today in this interview you will come to know many such interesting things related to his life and teaching career. I hope you will enjoy this interview. Watch till end. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Let's get started. Hello sir. Sir, I have many questions to ask you. And I am really excited to hear the answers and my viewers too. So my first question to you is that when and where were you born?
Thank you very much, Ishika, for having me on your show. Your show has been very popular. I've been hearing quite a lot about it in newspapers and the media. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Your first question, where I was born, and a few other things. Let me take you back to the very word Chennai, where I was born. And many of you do not know about Chennai, its historical background. Why is it known as Chennai today? A small part of area bought by the East India Company to establish their business center, are known as trading center. That small piece of land on the seashore belonged to Chennappan, who owned the land on the seashore. He sold that piece of land to the British East India Company, who established their trading center or company. So today, Chennai means Chennappan's place, the man who sold a piece of land to the English people. So that is how we get the name Chennai from Chennappan. So the British East India Company established a trading center, and that is known as Fort St. George. And Fort St. George is on one side of the seashore. And the seashore begins. And at one place, the seashore is known as St. Thomas Beach, St. Thom Beach. On the seashore only, this big church. I was born just behind the church.
Oh, and when? In which year?
All that I shall leave it to your guessing. I shall give you 3 dates. And you guess one of them.
Okay.
1919, 1939, 1949. Let me see, Ishika.
19?
1919,
Oh, yes.
1939, 1949.
Sir, I think maybe 1949.
1949? Let me go back and ask my mother. Yes, my mother says I was born in 1939. So Ishika, you are not very wrong. You have added many more years. Made me younger.
So you look younger.
Oh, thank you very much. I should look more hereafter with such interviews with you and with others.
Thank you, sir.
And coming back to the place of my birth on the seashore, I should tell you that place is very, very important because there's a very long seashore of 7 kilometers, beginning at St. George and going back to Mahabalipuram. And I was in that area from 1939 to 1964 when I took my MA degree. So many years I spent there in the same area. St. George Fort, St. Thomas Church, Kapaleశ్వర Temple, Pasasadi Temple, Presidency College, and for St. Madras Christian College. I spent in all these places.
Sir, will you please tell me more about your family background?
Yes, that is a very long history and a voluminous history you are going to get. Eh? We were 5 brothers and 2 sisters. Eh? So we were 7 at home. Eh? And parents, no grandparents, no aunts, no one else living with us. Once again we were living on the seashore only. And my father was a very distinguished professor at the university, Professor of Telugu. My father was also a great research scholar. I'm not going to tell you more about it. It is going to be very, what you call, academic answer. Huh? And my mother was a hard-working household lady who brought us up. My 4 brothers now, I'm the 5th one. My 4 brothers were all, 2 were in Indian Air Force, of the 4, and 2 were in teaching. And I should tell you something about my sisters, My sisters were accomplished Bharatanatyam dancers. They were not only accomplished Bharatanatyam dancers, they were also singers of Carnatic music.
Oh.
So both went together, singing and dancing. So they were so talented, so hugely talented, that they were cast in Telugu films as child artists. And they were very, very popular. But that was not the aim in life at all, to become actresses in South India. One should have good education, one should go to good jobs, one should marry very well, one should settle very well in life. That is usually the way we think of life in South India. So that's what I have told in brief about my parents, my brothers and my 2 sisters.
Okay, sir. Sir, how and where did you grow up?
Yes, that comes back to the first question. I grew up on the seashore. Yes. I lived on the seashore. I grew up on the seashore. I swam in the sea. And there is a canal running by the side of the sea. That is known as Buckingham Canal. I swam in the Buckingham Canal also. And that was the dirtiest canal in the world. But I swam there. One day my mother told me, if you swim there again, I won't allow you inside the house. It's such a dirty canal. Nobody swims, only buffaloes are what they're given a scrubbing there every morning. In such a canal you swim? Oh, it's very bad. Don't do it hereafter. Then I told my mother, I'm not going to do it. Then she allowed me inside the house. You open the door, get in now. Hereafter don't swim there. So I grew up there only. I couldn't go anywhere in Ishika because we were in such a big family with a very, very little income. To go anywhere else on a picnic, or to have nice clothes, or to have a nice pair of shoes, no. I was there only. In 1964, I took my MA degree and left the place.
Oh. Sir, how was your school life?
Yes. I went to schools, these schools were all missionary schools, Christian mission schools. And they are known as South Indian church schools. I belong to them.
Church.
I went there with my sisters to these schools, and I was taught very well there in the schools. The school began at 7:30 in the morning and ended about 1 o'clock. And I came back from school, took my lunch, then at 2 or 2:30 I began to do my homework. And this homework was done, with neighboring children, my classmates and others also came together to my house. We all sat together, okay, and we did our homework.
Oh.
This was done so regularly and so well in the homework in my house. Others also sent their children at the same time. They used to say, go to Suri. Go to Suri. He is doing homework there. Take your books. Sit there. So other children also came and we sat together. We did our homework very well, excellently well. And after 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, after having completed the homework, we played in the street, just outside the house, we played in the street till the sunset. Till sunset. At sunset, we went home.
Oh. Sir, will you please share your school memory?
Ishika, that is an interesting question. There are many school memories, many, but one of them is really interesting to me, and it is going to be very interesting to you and the viewers. Once I fell ill, and when I fell ill and in bed suffering from fever, my teacher came to me and she sat by my bedside and she began to pray God. And she prayed God loudly, God save this boy Suryanarayan. We like him very much. Send him back to school very soon. She came not only one day, she came for 14 days and 14 evenings she came to pray for me, my teacher. And really today, I look back on those days and wish to meet such teachers once again, so devoted to students, Ishika. That's one of the beautiful memories I cherish.
Okay, sir. What did you want to become when you were in school?
Yes, that's one again interesting thing is, my two brothers were in the Indian Air Force. And they were pilots, fighting pilots. They used to come back and tell me about fighting aeroplanes and then dropping bombs and do such things. So they were adventurous stories in the training also. And I wanted to become a pilot in the Indian Air Force. But I could not become, I was not selected at all. I don't know why, because of poor eyesight perhaps, or health reasons, I was rejected.
Oh, sir, when did you pass your 10th standard exam?
That's I don't remember. I don't have even my record also at home, not even a piece of paper, See? Perhaps in 1955 or something like that I should have passed.
Oh.
From 1939 you try to guess, a number of years, and then when I should have passed this 10th class. And in those days we never called it 10th class. We called it secondary school leaving certificate, known as SSLC.
SSLC.
And in those days the thing was first class, second class, third class, fourth class, fifth class. And then first form, second form, third form, fourth form, fifth form, sixth form. Sixth form is, as we call it, 10th class. And we called it secondary school leaving certificate.
Oh. Sir, who did inspire you to pursue further studies?
Yes. See, in South India, what we needed was a small experience of shorthand, typewriting, accountancy, and the knowledge of English to get a job. Job was very, very important for us. And to get a job was the main inspiration. The goal was to get a job after 10th class or SSLC, or after the 12th class, get a job, or after BA, but get a job. Get a job always. And how to get a job? You get a job if you are qualified in typewriting, shorthand, and bookkeeping, accountancy, and fluency in English.
Oh.
These were the things. There was nobody to inspire us. The inspiration was to get a job and bring some money, because the families were very big families.
Oh. Sir, what were the social and political circumstances in your childhood?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. And the main political situation was the freedom fighting which was going on. Okay? 1947, we won our freedom. So the political atmosphere was about the national movement, national struggle for freedom. At state level also the same situation continued. Okay? And everywhere, but these things didn't affect education at all. It didn't affect, our individual life of every student or one who works in shops. It didn't affect at all. See? Not at all, no. So these were at the political level, higher level, national level, not at the regional level. Today we find everything at regional level and town level and village level and street level, no. But in those days, these were the movements, which were going on at the national level. They are influenced by great leaders, led by great leaders, but not at the regional level, not at school, college level, no. We were free from all those things, and we were able to have our studies very well, concentrated, focused. But let me tell you, Ishika, there were some strong regional movements also, and that was led by DMK, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam.
DMK.
A very great social movement, to make people free from a particular dominance of caste. That was its full swing in those days. But that was also under the influence of some leaders. Small group of leaders, not by everybody. But nothing affected the learning, and then getting jobs, doing very well in schools.
Oh. Sir, who was the president at that time?
President was Bob Rajendra Prasad of our country.
Prasad.
Yes, yes. And the Prime Minister was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru.
Oh.
Yes.
Sir, since you came from Brahmin family,
Yes.
why do you think of being pujari or priest?
Yes. This is this question requires, this is a big misconception. See? All Brahmins, do not become pujaris. See? No. Those who perform pujas or rituals, they are different Brahmins. See? In Brahmins, we got two sections. Those who perform pujas, abhishek, and birth anniversary, death anniversaries, they are different Brahmins. So those who perform good pujas, good rituals, they are one type of Brahmins. Those Brahmins who perform, these death anniversaries, who come to the burial ground and perform all those things, last rites, rituals, they are different Brahmins. See? And we don't become. And the other Brahmins, they are called Niyogi Brahmins.
Niyogi.
Yes. The two distinct groups. One is called Niyogi Brahmin, the other is called Vaidiki. Vedic means Vedic Brahmin. And the Vedic Brahmin, his own profession is to go to each house, perform puja there, Satyanarayana puja, Ganapati establishment and so on. Or one section of them is to take the dead body there, see, chant all necessary mantras and cremate the body there and do all things for the next 10 days. So, I didn't belong to that one. I belong to the Niyogi Brahmin section. So, what we were doing is go to school, study very well, pass examinations, get good job, see, give money to mother and father, see, and go to any part of the world to do the job. That's how I came to other places also.
Sir, could you share your memory of family gathering? or event?
Family gathering and events. Yes. See, it all depended upon, economic situation. Those who had money, they had these gatherings. Those who had no money, they never had any gatherings. They could not even celebrate birthdays. See? Only thing is, we went to some weddings and we went some common lunch or dinner. See? Our uncle's home for lunch.
Oh.
So, I tell you, once I went to my uncle's home for lunch. See? A long distance we went by bus. My mother, my father was leading us walking, followed by my mother. Then we 5 brothers and then 2 sisters. The troop. We going to uncle's house. We walked very, very far. See? And then we ate lunch. Again we came back walking together. That's what I remember of that one. It's very interesting thing. The whole family marching together, one behind the other, to uncle's house. Just 3 kilometers there.
Oh, you walked 3 kilometers?
Yes.
Oh.
So, these events are very, very, very limited events, social gatherings, because we are all together nearby. And then there were festivals. See? On festival days we came together.
Oh.
Social event. See?
Sir, what kind of discussion you used to have within your family?
We used to have, 9 o'clock every day. We used to sit before the radio and then listen to the news in English. In those days, the news was led by in English by Latika Ratnam. She used to read English news, and at 9 o'clock we used to sit there and listen to her English news and talk about the English news, about news, about the English, about the pronunciation. My brothers, my sisters, my father and my brother, we all used to gather around the radio. That's a very, very important thing for us, And the radio was kept on a ledge, wooden ledge, on the wall, beyond our reach. So my brother would switch on, or my father would switch on, and we listen to the news. And we always talked about that one. And another thing was the Hindu newspaper. I think I can talk an hour about the Hindu newspaper, how it influenced us, the whole family. The single newspaper, which gave us so many things, and how the newspapers are very important for us. How carefully we folded, we kept in a corner all 30 issues of newspaper.
Sir, my next question to you is that, how was your college life?
Yes. Well, I went to 2 colleges. One is Government Arts College and second is Madras Christian College. Yes. We were all many students, and then once again we studied just to get jobs, see? And get money, get settled. See? And we studied very well. The books were available to us, we taught by professors. See? And then there were buses for us, special buses. We traveled with special buses, special passes for us. See? And then there were hotels nearby, restaurants. See? And such things were available easily for us, to help us read and study very well for examinations and pass them very well. With distinction sometimes. We did it very well.
Oh. Sir, tell me more about your professors and college mates.
I'll tell you about one professor who taught me. Many taught me from BA to MA, or from 11th, 12th, you say, no? We used to call them 11th, 12th intermediate classes.
Intermediate.
2 years intermediate, followed by 2 years BA, followed by 2 years MA. And let me tell you about one professor. She was known as Miss Vaidhynath Begum. Miss Vaidhynath Begum. A very short lady. But she taught 100 students. And she taught 100 students very important poems. And all students were very, very disciplined in the college, in his classroom. Okay? Here I am going to tell you one very interesting experience. I didn't go to her class, 3 days. On the 4th day, she asked me, Suryanarayan, why didn't you come for 3 days? What happened to you? I told her, Madam, I fell ill, I couldn't come. She asked me, what was the illness? I gave some name to the illness. She said, all right, Suri, you wait for me in the staff room till 4 o'clock. On that day, I waited for her till 4 o'clock. Then she took me, she said, let us go. I followed her. She took me to the parking area. She just sit in the car, she said. I sat in her car. She drove the car to her house. And then I saw the boat of some ladies. She was a doctor. Come inside, she said. She gave me some tea. When I was taking tea, a lady came. And my professor told me, this is Suri. He has been suffering from some fever. He was not able to come to school, class, for 3 days. So we examined him. So that doctor was her sister, Vaidhynath Begum. Then Vaidhynath Begum took me to the hospital room, examined me, and she brought him back. She told, there is nothing wrong with this boy. He's quite healthy. Then Vaidhynath Begum smiled at me. No, you don't do like this. You missed 3 classes. You're not suffering from anything. Now my driver is there. Driver will drop you at the bus stand. You go home and come to classroom tomorrow.
Oh, wow, so nice.
Very nice.
Sir, were girls and boys studying together in your college?
Yeah, in Chennai, there were colleges for girls separately and boys separately.
Oh.
Okay? So there was no need for them to study together. It could happen. If you didn't get seat in anywhere place, then you come to class to join the boys' college. But there were many colleges for girls and many colleges for boys.
Oh.
Yeah. So we never talked together. But sometimes we came together for international, intercollegiate events. So both colleges met, debating, essay writing, singing. On those occasions we met many places.
Oh.
So there were colleges for different girls and boys, different colleges.
Sir, who was your ideal during your college time?
Yes, once again, I come back to this lady, Vaidhynath Begum. She was head of the department. She was chairman of the English department. First year she taught, second BA, third BA, 3 years she taught me.
Oh.
Why ideal? No. The first day she took me to the library with other students. He listened to me. So this professor, she showed me all the books in the library. Oh, these are the books which you have to study. These are the textbooks, these are general books, they are the compulsory reading books. She showed all the books to us. And then she had her own library in the department next to her room. She used to give books. And every day we used to write, and second day we used to show to her, when this is what I wrote, this, you correct it. 3 years she taught us like that.
Oh.
Yes. Let's take for example one play of Shakespeare, He said, no, don't read the play of Shakespeare, it's difficult for you to read. What you do, there is a summary of it. Read the summary and write the summary in a book and show me. So I wrote all 32 summaries and 32 plays. So I knew the summary stories when I was in second BA. Well, this is the way, one becomes an ideal teacher. A Muslim lady, nowadays we call her Muslim. Eh?
Sir, when did you complete your BA and later MA?
Those dates I remember very well, Ishika. 1962 I completed BA, 1964 I completed MA.
Oh. Sir, how did you remember it?
How do I remember? I got documents very well, and then in 1962 I passed BA, applied for MA, and 1964 I completed 2 years MA.
Oh.
Eh?
Sir, when and how you got your first job?
Yes, that will lead us to very important stage, of our discussion interview. I passed MA in 1964. Then the government gave me a job immediately. Yes, the same month I was appointed as tutor in English.
Oh.
Not in Ooty, Government Arts College Ooty. See? The same day, same month of March or something like that. See? A government job as a tutor.
Oh.
See?
Sir, when and why did you leave Chennai?
I was given the job as a tutor in English in Government Arts College Ooty. So I left for the job to join the college. On the way, I went to Hyderabad. My father was in Hyderabad. On the way, I went to Hyderabad to meet my father.
Oh, where did you live in Ooty?
No, I didn't go to Ooty at all. I'll tell you, I didn't go to Ooty at all. I was asked to join this, but I went to Hyderabad to meet my father to tell him. Then my father told me there was no need to go to Ooty. There was a job in Hyderabad itself.
Oh.
See? There was a job in Hyderabad itself. I didn't join that job also. No.
What?
We come to very important, landmark in my own life. Why I didn't join? Because I met Swami Ramanand. Ishika, it was a monsoon month, and I was in Hyderabad with my father. My father was UGC Professor of Telugu at Osmania University. A very great honor for him. He retired from Madras University, he became UGC Professor at Osmania University. I went there to meet him on my way to Ooty. But one morning, I went to see Dr. Kulkarni, Professor of Botany of Vaidhynath College. One morning I went there to have tea with him. The door was kept open. Dr. Kulkarni's room. I entered inside, and on the left side of the drawing room there are some chairs, 3 chairs. I sat in one of them. For a long time, that is for another 5 minutes, I didn't see who was on the right side of the drawing room, near the window. On the right side of the drawing room, near the window, there was a man like a Buddhist monk. And the window, morning light was falling on him. And Dr. Kulkarni, Professor of Botany, heard my voice. And from the kitchen he said, Suri, come in, the tea is ready.
Oh.
So he brought tea, tea for me, tea for the man sitting at the window, and tea for himself. Dr. Kulkarni stood in the middle of the drawing room. He looked at me, he looked at him. The Swamiji, this is Suryanarayan.
Oh, you met Swamiji?
Ah, yes, this is how I met Swamiji. This is how I heard the name first time. I think Swamiji was some Swamiji in some temple. See? I didn't know anything about him. See? And I never knew about such people at all.
Oh.
And as students, we never bothered for them in South India. See? This is Swamiji, this is Suryanarayan. See? He is going to Ooty to teach in a college. Then I turned towards Swamiji, said Namaste. Then Swamiji spoke very slowly, like all old people, spiritual people. Suryanarayan, I am very glad a young man like you is going to teach in Ooty. I said immediately, yes, I am ready to teach. Then Swamiji said, yes, I shall take you to Ambazogai tomorrow or day after tomorrow in my car and teach in that college for 2-3 years. Swamiji told me in a very interesting way, Suryanarayan, I am going to give you mud, a handful of mud I am going to give you. And this is the mud from your own place, Ambazogai. And try to mold the mud, give some shape to the mud. This is the mud from the villages. These are the boys, these are all the boys, rural boys. So give them some shape, breathe new life into them. I am giving you a handful of mud. Like that, Swamiji stood up in front of me. I was not moved at all sentimentally. There was not an emotional thing for me. I said, I am ready. I said, Mr. Swamiji, I am ready, you see. So it ended. I came home and told my father, I am not going to Ooty. See? I am going to a place called Ambazogai. See? Not Ambazogai. Ambazogai Swami said, but in the map it is. You know Ambazogai's old name? Muminabad.
Muminabad.
So my father said, where is it Ambazogai? Come on, show me at least in the newspaper, Atlas. We had Atlas, no? Then the Atlas will find it called Muminabad. I told my father, this is the place I am going. You are going to Muminabad alone. I said, don't go alone. You take your aunt also and cups and saucers, bartan, girtan leke jao. See? So after 2 or 3 days, I sat in his car, Swamiji's car, and then we drove to Ambazogai and came there, and there we were received by Baba Sahib Paramji and Vituji Guruji, Eknath Rao Kulkarni, and many other Gurujis there. They all met to Swamiji. Swamiji said, this is Suryanarayan and he is going to teach here. Give him a room in your hostel. And remember, Suryanarayan eats more rice only. He doesn't eat rotis. So make rice for him every day and make him comfortable. Swamiji has his own room there, special room. Then Swamiji went back to Hyderabad. I continued to teach in Ambazogai for 3 long years, still 6 years. Until Vaidhynath College was established in 68. 3 years I was in Ambazogai. This is how I met Swamiji, very dramatic, very interesting man. He said, this is the mud I am going to give you. Come on, breathe life into it. See, this chickle. See, I'm giving you, this from Ambadogai. And then, I didn't understand anything of that one, but I'm going with you. I don't know how I took the decision, no? I was a very fashionably dressed man. I was very young. I had those very nice clothes I wore. And my aim was not like this to go to a village and teach. I was thinking of going to Ooty, Government Arts College, and teach there. But suddenly it changed everything. Suddenly I said, okay sir, Swamiji, I am coming.
Oh.
And Kulkarni was also very happy. Dr. Kulkarni of that college, Vaidhynath College. That is how I happened to leave Chennai, come to Hyderabad, meet Swamiji, and then travel with him to Ambadogai to join Yogeshwari Mahavidyalaya.